Welcome to episode 141 of the Muck Podcast, a member of the Odd Pods Media Network. Listen in as we discuss the dark and sometimes weird true stories in American politics. I'm Tina Jaramillo.
And I'm Hillary Dougherty.
Hillary.
Hi.
Hi.
Oh, we're back together.
I know, thank
so
God.
happy.
It feels like it's been a month, even though it's been a
God,
week.
it does. Every time we do this, it's so
It
weird.
is, and so much has happened.
Dude, my list up front, I'm like, thank God my story's short because I have so much to talk about. So much to say.
I mean, I have one thing recently that has just really upset me. So,
you want to start?
mine is the recent DeSantis human trafficking. Human trafficking. Isn't that a crime?
And every
he crossed state lines with human beings.
But in every day that passes, it's more information comes out that makes it more horrific. And it doesn't seem like, I guess on the surface, it's like, what's the big deal? He put people on a plane and move them, right? Like, it seems like right. There's so many other things that are happening. First of all, the $12 million that it cost to do it. Like, how is a conservative Republican,
what is it? 600. It was 600 something thousand. Or there's that pile of 12 million, and then it was 600 some thousand, so it was like 12,000. It's
$12,300 per Floridian. That's how much we paid. Each Floridian paid $12,300 to transfer folks from Texas
for his publicity stunt.
Yeah,
because
he had a video crew. He had a video crew.
And where did he bring them?
I know it's
all like, I'm gonna go bring them where the rich liberals are, and they can take care of the problem. It's the stupidest, petty, immature, and these are people. These are human beings.
Yeah,
they're using you as little pawns in your game.
That's the worst part to me.
It is that insane. I'm sorry.
The terror that was inflicted on these folks with their children. Now, this part that I heard yesterday fucking really pissed me. I was screaming on the phone with my mother. I was so mad. And that's that it was like a mass conspiracy. Not only this wasn't just DeSantis, right? Like Abbott was involved, Governor Abbott of Texas, who's another fucking douche. And the fucking ICE agents who gave them all these, they had these things prepared. They had a cartoon map that showed the plane going from Texas to Martha's Vineyard. Then they had a map of Martha's Vineyard so they could find their way around.
Yeah.
Then they gave them each paperwork and told them,
like, you'll have jobs.
You're going to have jobs in housing. But they said Monday morning, first thing Monday morning, they gave them all different places. You have to go to Missouri. Here's the address in Missouri to be Monday morning. Here's the address in Ohio. Here's the address in Florida where you all have to be. So they get there and they're now panicked.
Of course.
Because they don't know what's going on. And they think, here's what I know about migrants. And this lawyer said it on
they're
this
going to be
news
afraid.
Thing. And this is what I know too. The folks that we've helped get their green card through my company, they just want to do the right thing.
Yeah.
That's all they want to do. They want to do the right thing.
Because they don't want to go back.
Yes, and they come here for safety, for refuge. And they just want to stay.
Asylum.
Yeah, and they want to do the right thing. So when you tell them, you send them to Martha's Vineyard and then tell them to be Monday morning to be in Missouri, they're like, I'm going to be kicked out if I don't do this.
Yes.
And they had to calm them all down and help them figure it out. And it was a joke, right? Like, it's a big joke.
Yeah.
Like, all these people who are at this ICE agency or whatever in Texas or wherever they were pulled in, gave them this paperwork and were laughing. Like, this is a joke to them, right? And these are folks who walk
human beings.
through. Some of them walk through 10 countries with their children, and to get here.
I know.
Walked to get to a better place for safety because of oppression and gang violence, and to save their children from dying in the streets. And you think it's fucking funny?
To put them on a plane.
To terrorize them further? That's what the United States ICE agents think is okay, and Governor DeSantis and Governor Abbott?
I mean, they should be charged with trafficking.
Don't worry, this is not fucking going away. This is not going away.
Be charged. But then I think, who's going to be the judge sitting in front of this?
No. This is not this is not going away quietly. And you know what? Here's the thing, and it's a Trump thing too. They never know when to stop.
Well,
and that's the thing that really bothers me. He may have
out-Trumped himself.
But like,
you know
where? I try to understand, like, where is DeSantis's mind here, right? Like, he's supposed to be this Oxford educated, right? Like this brilliant genius, like book smart guy, right? Whatever.
He's an idiot. Just because you're
But
book
what
smart
is he?
doesn't-
I just start to think, like, what does he know that we don't know, right? Like, how do you think this state is made up of fucking migrants and immigrants?
He
Like,
doesn't
what do you think is
care.
happening? What
All
are you
he
doing?
cares about is the presidency and what this looks like and how
But,
his
but
face
look,
will react.
but what does it look like? You're going to tell me Republicans and conservatives are okay spending $12,000
Yeah.
of their tax dollars on this?
I think
Not
so.
religious conservatives. Actual Republican
I don't
conservatives
know.
who are about financial responsibility. They're okay with this?
I don't know.
I mean, let's go. And if we're not spinning this as a party against DeSantis, we are lost. This is a
No,
huge
this should be the
fucking
this should
issue.
be the story every day.
It's outrageous.
And you know, my husband and I were talking about this, and one way, because I was like, how can they, you know, we have the crossing of state lines, but I think the other issue is that when you put anyone on a plane, like, you have to have an official log of whoever is on that plane, and they may not have, like, filled out, like, done the proper, like, paperwork, like, on that level. So that could be another way that maybe they can find a way to charge these people for this. Is a horrific. Thank God for the people in Martha's Vineyard who are stepping up to help these people.
I was thinking too, like, what happens next? Do other governors, they see the same thing? They're like, oh, Martha's Vineyard likes this. Let's send everyone to Martha's Vineyard.
It's ridiculous. But how does one state, and they didn't call anybody. They didn't let anybody
that's
know
the other thing.
that we're bringing people
The
over
governor of
into your state.
Massachusetts.
You can't do that.
The governor of Massachusetts, who's a Republican, is like, yo, how about a fucking heads up, motherfucker? Like, what's up?
Yeah. This is just cuckoo. It's such, you know what it is? It's also like, it reminds me of like these were a bunch of drunk frat boys that were like, you know what would be funny?
Yes. Tina, that's exactly what, Tina,
you know,
that's exactly what happened.
So funny.
Tina,
And then they actually did it.
Instead of actually running the government and being concerned with the people of Florida and coming up with policies that actually benefit the people he's supposed to be taking care of, the people he's supposed to be leading. Instead of doing that, he's sitting in a fucking hole somewhere coming up with horrific fucking
ideas,
stunts and pranks. That's what your Governor DeSantis is doing instead of his actual fucking job. That should disturb everybody.
It should.
Why are you worried about migrants in Texas, motherfucker? What does that have to do with you? Why are you putting your nose in another state's business? You got nothing else to do? Because I got a laundry list of fucking problems you can solve.
How about property tax?
Yeah, how about my fucking, how about my insurance that I won't be able to afford? You fucking prick.
Which is, I mean, and this is such a legitimate concern, especially for the seniors in this state, of which this state is made up of a lot of. I mean, we are known for the seniors being here.
It's unaffordable to live here.
We're more expensive than New York.
There is so much on this fucking ballot in November, it's not even funny. There is so much on the ballot. And so what bothers me is, like, you've got DeSantis doing this. You've got Rubio co-sponsoring a 15-week national 15-week abortion ban. This is 2 months before his re-election, he's putting himself on that abortion bill, and it really
they're crazy. They're crazy.
He must think in some way it benefits him. So what the fuck does DeSantis and Rubio know that we don't fucking know? Are they polling Republicans and conservatives, and they're on the side of flying migrants out of Texas and a national 15-week abortion ban in Florida? Is that what you're telling me?
I think so.
Because that's insane. That's insane to me.
I think that we are in a place where people are nuts. I watch these stupid videos where, you know, it's like the Jordan Kleppers and like the guys like him who go around and they talk to people. And this one guy was like, I don't know what state he was in, but I was like, shit, I need to find out so that I don't go there and I don't send my children to college there. Because it was all young people outside of a restaurant, like 20-year-olds. And the guy was like, all right, Trump or Biden? Trump. All of these young people. And I'm like, I don't.
We know that on a national polling scale.
I mean, unless he was in some conservative place, you know.
People in America are not for an abortion ban. They're not for it. They're not for it.
Well, this is.
So why is he doing it? What does he know that we don't know? What the fuck is going on?
The thing that's the craziest is states' rights, states' rights, states' rights, and then they put forward through the Senate a national ban. So it's not about states' rights, right? You got to pretend this whole Republican thing of put it in the states' control. You want full control. You want to be dictators. You want to be tyrants. You want to hold everybody down to your crazy right-wing, religious nonsense.
It's never been about states' rights.
I
It's about
mean,
controlling women.
It's about controlling women. It's about just being cruel.
Women hemorrhaging to death. I saw this OBGYN talk about this mother. She has a 2-year-old daughter and she's married, and the baby, she's pregnant, and the fetus inside of her, they couldn't take it out.
Right.
Because
if it still has a heartbeat, right?
But
they
she was
can't do
hemorrhaging.
anything.
But she's hemorrhaging.
Yeah.
So she's got to sit there and hold this woman's hand until the heartbeat passes, because
Yeah.
even though she's bleeding out,
Yeah.
in
Even
front of
though
her 2-year-old and her husband,
Even though the
they can't help
fetus is
her.
not viable, it's not going to live.
They wanted the baby. Like,
But
it was
it's-
not the case where they didn't want the baby. They wanted the baby.
They go by this electrical, right? It's not even like legitimate heartbeat, right? But they call it now a heartbeat. It's so ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
All right, so long live the King, King Charles, Tina.
Oh my God,
The Queen died. Is anybody sad about this? I'm not.
So,
I don't give a fuck. I don't care.
I was like, my husband came home that day, poured himself a bowl of chips, and he goes, "I've got my crisps, and I'm going to be watching the coverage." And I was like, "Okay." He's
this Liverpool.
He is fascinated.
Yeah.
That was his word. I'm fascinated.
Yeah, it is fascinating.
I mean, he's doing the lineage. He's like, look, I mean,
this
we
is
watch
my
her
daughter.
going
My
and
daughter's
stick.
doing
He's
this.
like, look at the outfit. Look at this. I'm like,
it is. Well, it's a show. It's
and
show
then,
business, baby.
And he's like, do you know David Beckham waited 13 hours in line just to...
I love that his connection is through football.
Soccer, yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, David Beckham couldn't get moved up the line? He's like, nobody can get moved up the line. I was like, oh, I didn't know.
Your husband never ceases to amaze. He's fascinating. He amazes me. This is amazing.
That he's sitting there with crisps, not chips.
When she dies, my daughter comes home and she's going on and on about Diana and William and Harry, and I'm like, what the? She knew everybody. Yeah. I was like, this is incredible. So I said, we got to start watching The Crown, which we have started watching. Oh,
it's
so we're going back to the first.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. Anyway. Peace, bitch. I don't know what to tell you. She reigned over some pretty horrific times.
I mean,
that monarchy is not a great thing at all. This is not a good
colonizers
thing.
And like the jewelry.
Oh, the whole thing. It's just like all this pomp, right?
Yeah.
Is that the right word? Like, it's just.
But it is. I mean, it is interesting.
It is, but it's also ridiculous. Mm-hmm. Like, even that first season of The Crown, they go back and they talk about Prince David and how I think it's Edward. He becomes Edward, but he was supposed to take it, right? And his poor brother, who'd never wanted to do this, and now his children, Queen Elizabeth, gets thrown into this, and it's like, it's just such a shitty family. It's the whole thing's shitty.
I don't know. And the rules, like that you can't open a door, like someone's got to open the door. Like everywhere you're moving, everyone's doing something for you. I would be like, just get away from me. Yeah. But I guess if you're accustomed to that, then that's all you know.
Yeah.
Ugh, I don't like it.
Also, I want to correct the record. So, in the last episode, I was talking about Mark Maron, who, of course, I'm still fucking obsessed with.
Hi.
He's not 64. I need to fix that.
Oh.
I don't know why I said that. He's 58, which is still 14 years older than me.
Okay, that's still sugar daddy territory.
It's still sugar daddy territory. But he's only 58, and he could still get it.
Oh,
right?
hi.
I mean.
Oh my God.
And then I went to Key West. That's why we weren't here. So I went there last weekend, and then Mark Maron was on vacation in Canada. And he was talking about where he is in Canada. It's called Tofino. Oh. And of course, I'm like, oh God, I gotta look this up. And I'm looking up Tofino, and I'm like, that's where I'm going on my next vacation. I'm going to Tofino. Like, I am everything Mark Maron does. I want to do.
I love that.
He's so cute.
Oh my God.
So fucking cute. And guess what else? I was listening to an old episode. He had mentioned in a recent episode that his mom lived in Florida, and I was like, oh, that's interesting, right?
Hi, where?
An old retired lady in Florida. Yeah. There's a really good chance that she's nearby. So I was listening to an old episode, and he's like, it was like a Thanksgiving. He was visiting his mom during Thanksgiving. And he's like, I went out for a run. I ran down to the beach, and I was like, oh my God. He's like, then we went to this place called like Fat Art Village. And I was like, this is Fort Lauderdale! I'm like, what? And his mom's like,
Thanksgiving's coming up.
Dude.
Can you come on the podcast?
And he said, I'm in Fort Lauderdale. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't fucking believe
Let's
this.
get him on the podcast.
We've got to start stalking like Century Village.
Yeah.
Where does this woman live?
What's the other one? The
John Knox.
John Knox.
I mean, could you imagine? I'm like, hi, Mark Maron. Hi, I'm stalking your mother's condo.
It's a retirement community.
I knew Sopranos would come up. I fucking knew it. Okay, so here's the other thing that I wanted to mention to you very quickly is that I know that we've talked about this before, and that is the amount of people in Ireland that are downloading this podcast.
Hi.
What in the motherfuck is going on?
Please send us an email.
And I was looking at our episode. Hold on, let me look up the numbers really quick. Our episode 139. More people in Ireland listen to it than in Florida.
What?
And Florida was always like our highest state,
that?
right?
Wait, how does that happen?
I don't know. It's so weird. Wait, I'm in the wrong place. Who is looking at, who's
I don't know,
this?
But I like
Who
it.
are you?
Hi.
Me too, but I'm very curious, and I just want to have some answers. I want answers.
Yeah.
Who are you?
If we could ever know how.
31 people in Ireland. 31 people.
Wow. Hi.
And let me see Florida. 15. Which one? Two of them is this. So 13 other people besides us.
Excuse me. We need a larger audience. What are you doing? What are you guys doing?
Yeah. Who are you?
How dare you?
9 people in Michigan.
Hi.
Who could that be? Yeah, but 31. 31 people in Ireland.
I love that.
That's insane.
That's nice.
Who is this?
Who are you?
Yeah. Is it Bono? Is that who it is?
Oh, Bono.
Oh my God, I love this. What else?
Well, okay, so one thing that made me happy this week, and I'm sure you saw a lot of the videos, was the blind reaction to the Little Mermaid trailer. I was just sobbing every time.
Yes.
It was beautiful.
Loved it.
It was beautiful. It made me so happy.
You know what?
Just these little girls.
It's just the greatest. It's so important. It is so important. And if you don't understand how important representation is, go watch the videos.
Oh my God.
It is just really, really important. Especially because you see there's a little black girl watching it and she's wearing an Ariel shirt with the white Ariel on it, right?
Yeah.
And it's this makes sense. It makes sense that you should have...
Oh, I'm getting goosebumps again.
It's
It's
incredible.
Just so beautiful.
Yeah.
So beautiful.
Well, I forgot who did these photos, but they reversed all of the white people who are usually in the position with people of color, like at a nail salon, instead of had white women doing the nails and had Asian women sitting as customers, just completely a black woman in colonial times and a white woman as her servant, switching what it would look like and how it's jarring because of what we always see, right? And this is the same thing. So I get the shock of it all, I guess.
I don't get
people.
I don't
well,
get it.
there's people who they can't
get over it.
It's
the craziest thing. My
dumb.
favorite thing are she's a fish. You could get over that. You can suspend your disbelief.
Well, yeah. And the other thing I want to say about DeSantis real quick, because fuck it, who cares? We're going to have a heavy top. I'm used to a heavy top. Is that this isn't the first time in history that a dictator, which is clearly what he is, and I don't throw around that word lightly, but it's not the first time that they've tricked people and sent them somewhere and said, you're going to paradise, and sent them to a concentration camp.
Yeah.
Everything he does is not original. This is all shit that's been written in history over and over and over again. And we, as humans, continue to elect horrible fucking people. Yeah. And I gotta tell you another thing. If Chris can pull off a fucking miracle in November and win, which would be a miracle, okay?
I feel like his choice for
this is amazing. I was gonna mention
governor,
her. Yes.
Is really the pathway to winning this.
Yeah. She came to the Dolphins meeting this week. Carla Hernandez-Matz.
Yeah.
And she comes, when people walk in, there's a table here and there's a table here. I'm here. The door is right there. And she comes in, and I made eye contact with her because I wanted to meet her. And she comes walking right up to me, and I stood up and I said, "Congratulations on your candidacy." And she went like this, and I was like, "Oh, bitch, we're hugging? All right, let's go." She got up, what a fucking firecracker. Yeah. And I immediately texted Tina, and I was like, can she be our candidate for governor? Incredible. So he can ride on her coattails. Yeah. That's fine.
She's
incredible.
She's incredible. And I know she had that TikTok, and I was watching that TikTok again, and there are some things I like about it. And it was, she is directly addressing the Latin community.
Yeah.
Which is very, very important. She's talking about, dictators. This is stuff that the audience that she is talking to understand.
Well,
and I think I like that part. I'm like, okay, and I get it. Schooling DeSantis, I think she can do some fun things with it. But I think that it's very important. Her coming out of Miami-Dade, like
no,
this is what
let me say. I was just gonna say that her being chosen was a calculated move.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant.
It was the opposite of picking Sarah Palin. You know what I mean? Like the complete
That
fucking
ruined our
opposite.
all of this is everything John McCain's fault.
Yeah.
Like, did John McCain start?
I'm sorry, Tina. He's not his fault. He's a maverick.
Yeah.
No,
but
I think that
everything
whoever
just really started to unravel.
Whoever suggested her, we're not in Miami-Dade, so I'm sure she's very well known there. But whoever suggested her and they vetted her and picked her was a fucking genius and should get paid a lot of money on that campaign.
She's an educator, and you can tell, like, because she's like very much like, here's my points. She knows how to talk to a room.
Yeah, she's personable. She's kind. She's really cute. I think she's cute.
God.
Which, doesn't really need to be important, but I think she's adorable.
Adorable.
She's a teacher. She can get in front of a crowd of people and talk. She's smart. And she's a Latina, which, let's be honest, we need this.
We're Florida, of course this is what we need.
This is what I mean. When you see him busing migrants out of here, it's like, who do you think who do you think is watching that? Who do you think is watching that? It's fucked up. And we are not that far removed from Cuban exiles coming here. Like, you all fucking know. I know they vote Republican because they're idiots, but like, you all fucking know what that's like. You know what it's like to have you or your family members come here in fear.
Yes.
And immigrants are the hardest working fucking people to ever step on this land.
Right.
Immigrants are the hardest working people.
I mean, and looking at Florida, the work that like migrant workers do here, like people don't think about that.
It's insane.
But that's,
all they want to do is work and have a better future for their children.
For their family.
They're walking through 10 countries with their children.
Yeah.
To escape, and by the way, to get here safely after that.
And then to be lied to, to be tricked, to be thrown on a plane and you don't know where you're going, to have fear instilled in you about you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah. By the way, they have these coyotes that they save up all this money and pay thousands of dollars to. They call them coyotes, to put them in the back of a fucking van if they're lucky and drive them through these countries, right? Some of these women are assaulted, they're raped, their children are assaulted. Like, they're taking their lives in their hands to even get here safely. Like, the fact that they arrived here unharmed it's incredible.
And
for a better fucking life, for a better life. And we've got ICE agents playing tricks on them.
Yeah, and where's the federal government on that?
Yeah, well, we got a fucking problem.
All right.
We've got a problem.
Well, hopefully this is the thing that I would love this. Please let this be the thing that brings DeSantis down and has to lose this election. And
it's only September. It's the middle of September. We've got a fucking 2 months before the election. What else is he gonna do in 2 months? What else?
I know.
This is crazy.
It is.
It is a shocking story. It's shocking.
And here we are again sitting in the state, and again, please help.
Yeah, and I don't.
Somebody help us.
The part that I don't understand is have we lost our humanity in this? There was a girl who murdered this guy.
Oh my God!
Who was trafficking her and raping her.
She was 15. She's now 17.
Yeah, she finally fucking murders this guy and gets away. She's convicted of murder.
Well, she is got 5 years. It's either 5 or 10 years probation. I think it's 5 years probation. But the thing that really upset me is that she's got to pay that $150,000 restitution to the rapist family. And if that family had any soul, they would say, we're not going to take money from this child that our family member tortured. But she's got to pay the money. And thank God there was a GoFundMe, and it's now over $300,000 for this girl, so that she doesn't have to pay. But what is this system? What have we done? And the whole argument was that he wasn't, she wasn't in direct danger of him in the moment that she killed him, because he was asleep, I guess. Like, the evidence showed, he was, But that was probably this is my opportunity to, what trauma is this child in that's the only way she sees to get out?
And who are the prosecutors? Who are the police? Who arrest her and bring charges against her?
A child.
Bring charges against her? You know what human trafficking is, right? Do we have to fucking explain this to you? This woman's body, this child's body was violated.
Passed around to different
She will
men.
be tortured the rest of her life over this. And you want to fucking put her on trial and prosecute her?
And then make her pay money?
We have lost every fucking ounce of our humanity in the justice system, in the elected officials that we have. Yeah. You have lost your way. You've lost your way.
Please. And the judges, of course, like, I'm sorry, I know we are top heavy. This will be the last thing I say when you talk about the judges. That lovely judge who is like, oh, that's executive privilege. I don't think he did anything wrong. Like, this is what happens. He appointed all these judges, and now we're screwed. And if this man, any other person, if they would have taken a matchbook with a number on it, would have been thrown in jail, yet somehow this man is walking around. I don't understand. Just because he was a president, I don't understand. I don't understand. Why does he get that privilege? Throw his ass in jail. I mean, he's selling information on our country. And these people still want to, like, idolize him.
Oh,
like, they're nuts.
Flyer.
They're nuts.
I saw a flyer that said the son of Jesus, and it was a picture of Trump. It was at one of his rallies.
These people are crazy. Like, they're poisoned.
What's the Netflix show? What's the Netflix show that you were showing?
Sins of the Mother.
Sins of the Mother. Yeah. It's about that horrible, so crazy woman. But when you watch it, she is convinced herself. Even her older son, who's pleading with her in jail, because she had an older son who wasn't murdered by her, and because she believed she was the second fucking coming, basically.
And she had this hit list.
Yeah, and
you're dark.
She kills her two children because they were dark spirits. And so the older son's on the phone with her, like, how could you? And she's in jail. How could you do this? How could you do this? He goes, those are your children. I miss my family. She's like, so do I. He's like, how could you say that? She's like, you don't understand. They're in a better place. They're happy because she thinks she did the right thing,
and she thinks that she's like a spirit.
The level of here's the thing. It's
mental illness.
Here's the thing. That's the problem, and it will be the problem with elections and electing people and Trump and like what the people believe and the way they can spin things and convince people is that humans are fucking dumb.
Yeah,
they're dumb. We can be manipulated, and
we're like a ball of clay,
absolutely,
and we can be shaped.
And if you allow, and trust me, I'm sure that we fall into that box in some fucking way. I'm sure that we do. But I have a little bit clearer eyes than some of these motherfuckers who are printing material that's got Trump as the son of Christ,
and like all beefed up. He's always beefed up.
He's a fucking turd. Yeah. He's bloated, white, pale. Bloated clit. His face, honey. I don't know if he's putting too much sunscreen on.
No,
he's sweating through it. Yeah. He is the most disgusting thing I've ever fucking seen. And the greatest thing. Did we talk about this already? What? Oh, sorry. I don't give a fuck. This is the podcast today. Did you see? There's a news story that when the FBI came, they wanted to go into Melania's bedroom because she has a separate bedroom.
Oh, because who wants to lay down?
And she said, absolutely not. She goes, Donald never comes in here, and none of his things are in here. You're not coming in here. And I think they did go in eventually and rifled through all her stuff, like moved all her clothes around, whatever.
In there,
nothing. She just, but the point is they don't even fuck.
No.
So this guy that you've idolized can't even get his dick hard for his wife. Like she wants nothing to do with him.
Well, he might be able to, but she's like,
I don't think he's able to. How about that?
Get away from me.
Yeah.
Can you imagine this poor woman?
Oh my god.
She probably thought,
but also fuck her. No, but also
she's horrible.
She married him for money.
She married him for money, but now she's like, oh god, what have I?
She's trying to protect that poor kid of hers, who's probably a mess. Because his entire childhood is ruined by this fucking asshole.
This presidency.
This father. I mean, he seems like the most sane because he's quiet. The other kids are out there on TV defending this turd.
Listen, Barron, write a book.
Oh, God.
Please, spill it. Spill it for us. Tell us everything.
Love it. My favorite.
Okay. Are we ready?
I guess so.
I love being in person so much more.
Oh, it's so much better. Okay, so I have a short and sweet today. Up first,
yeah.
And I saw the story and I started reading. I'm like, oh, this is so good. I'm so excited. It's like fun. I'm excited.
Oh.
And then I get to the end and I'm like, oh, I guess it's kind of like not what I thought it was. But it's so fucking good.
Okay.
So I'm going to talk about President Carter and the time that he saw a UFO.
No. Where is our... Wait, where we need our crew here. We need Zach,
David
and
Fry.
David Fry.
I know they would love it. Zach Duran and David Fry. Go listen to that little muck, which was very good.
Yes.
That was a good episode.
It was a fun episode.
And Zach still today texts us with
I
updates.
love it. I love it.
We have a little text group with those two.
Yes,
and they
it's
text
like the cutest.
He texts us updates about UFOs. So fucking good.
Oh my god.
Because there's stuff coming out all the time. Go watch the Navy videos. Go watch the Air Force videos.
God.
They are real. They are real. And the government is now like issuing, they have out reports.
Yeah, that. I just think of Marco Rubio because he's on that stupid panel or whatever the hell. All right, so he saw a UFO. He's hanging out, and he's like, "There's a UFO."
Yeah, dude, this is so good. It's so fucking good.
But did it end up being like a hot air balloon?
No, it's you get hard and then you lose your boner. You know what I'm saying? I was like, "Oh, this is so good," and I was like, I didn't get to the climax. It kind of. It's always disappointing when this happens.
God.
But, it happens to everybody once in a while. Tina, it's going to be okay. It's normal.
Every once in a while. What are you going to do? You get old?
Yeah.
He was old.
It's okay, baby. Just roll over and go to bed. We'll be fine. Okay, so James, a little bit background. Little bit, and then we're just going to jump in. So James Earl Carter Jr. Ooh, I wanted to show you this picture of him because he's so cute.
Was he so cute? I only know him as, older.
Girl, I was like, what is this picture? Look at him.
Oh my god. Look at those eyes.
Yes.
Those lips.
Very handsome.
Very full
Let me show this
lips.
to the camera. Can they see it?
Kinda.
You can't. But I thought
it'll be on our
Look at him.
I know.
Very handsome.
Ooh.
I'll include it. I wasn't gonna include it. I just saved that one to show you, but all right.
Yeah, so include it. People want to see a handsome guy.
Blue eyes, honey.
Hey.
So he served as the 39th president of the United States from 1977 to 81. So he was the president when I was born. What? A member of the Democratic Party. He previously served as the 76th governor of Georgia from 1971 to 75, and as a Georgia state senator from 1963 to 1967. And since leaving office, Carter has remained engaged in political and social projects, receiving the Nobel Peace Prize in 2002 for his humanitarian work.
Yes, he does such good work.
Yeah, he's a big advocate for Habitat for Humanity.
Yeah.
He was like the big push for that.
Yeah, you see the pictures of him with I'm still out there.
What an organization.
Houses.
We should do that. They do local stuff here. And Carrie Ann, our friend Carrie Ann, does work with them. So born and raised in Plains, Georgia, Carter graduated from the United States Naval Academy in 1946 with a Bachelor of Science degree and joined the United States Navy, serving on numerous submarines. After the death of his father in 1953, he left his naval career and returned to Plains, Georgia, where he assumed control of his family's peanut growing business, which is always my favorite thing about him when he got elected. He's a peanut farmer. He inherited comparatively little because his father's forgiveness of debts and the division of the estate amongst himself and his siblings. Nevertheless, his ambition to expand and grow the family's peanut farm was fulfilled. So he did a really great job with those peanuts. During this period, Carter was encouraged to oppose racial segregation and support this growing civil rights movement. He became an activist within the Democratic Party. And from 1963 to 67, like I said, he served in the Georgia State Senate. And in 1970, he was elected governor of Georgia.
Okay.
Defeating former Governor Carl Sanders in the Democratic primary. He remained in office until 1975. Despite being a dark horse candidate who was not well known outside of Georgia, he won the 1976 Democratic presidential nomination.
Okay.
And he ran as an outsider, and he beat the incumbent Republican Gerald Ford.
Yay.
Okay, so we're going to go back a little bit. So while he was serving in office as a senator, he witnessed something that he was never able to explain.
Oh, I love that. I love stories like that.
I'm trying to do the X-Files theme. David Duchovny, I love you.
Hi.
Hot bitch. One evening in 1969, also Gillian Anderson.
Gorgeous.
Oh my God. One evening in 1969, 2 years before he became governor of Georgia, Carter was preparing to give a speech at a Lions Club meeting. Right?
Oh.
At about 7:15 p.m., Eastern Standard Time, one of the guests called his attention to a strange object that was visible about 30 degrees above the horizon to the west of where he was standing.
Oh my God.
Carter described the object as, quote, being bright white and being as bright as as bright as the moon.
Okay, all right. So dark night, something really shiny and bright floating in there.
Like, what is this? It was said to have closed in on where he was standing, but to have stopped beyond a stand of pine trees some distance from him.
Oh my God.
The object is then said to have changed color, first to blue, then to red, then back to white, before appearing to recede into the distance.
Red, white, and blue. What could that signify?
It's a patriot UFO. He's a patriot.
Was he drinking? Was he drunk?
Oh, patriot. I gotta tell that story about my patriot pool company.
yeah.
Carter felt that the object was self-illuminated and not solid in nature. Carter's report indicates that it was witnessed by about 10 or 12 other people, and it was in view for 10 to 12 minutes before it passed out of sight.
So it's a balloon stuck in a tree.
Well, stop guessing. What is this? I'm going to tell you. I mean, my God. So in 1973, he said, quote, there were about 20 of us standing outside of a little restaurant, I believe, a high school lunchroom, and a kind of green light appeared in the western sky. This was right after sundown. It got brighter and brighter, and then it eventually disappeared. It didn't have any solid substance to it. It was just a very peculiar looking light. None of us could understand what it was. End quote.
Oh,
his story always kind of changed throughout through time.
Oh no.
In 2005 interview, he said, quote, all of a sudden one of the men looked up and said, look over in the west. And there was a bright light in the sky. We all saw it. And then the light, it got closer and closer to us. And then it stopped. I don't know how far away, but it stopped beyond the pine trees. And all of a sudden it changed color to blue, and then it changed to red, then back to white. And we were trying to figure out what in the world it could be. And then it receded into the distance. End quote.
Oh my God.
The exact date of the sighting occurred has been called into questions by investigators. No. Okay, so now all of these things start to change.
So these are a bunch of drunk guys hanging out, and they think they see something up in the sky, and no one remembers.
He probably was drinking. It was at the end of a speech. They probably had dinner, had some drinks. Right? Like it was probably
they're at the Lions Club.
They did see something. They did see something, but it when these all right. According to the report that he filed with the International UFO Bureau,
oh my goodness.
A bunch of fucking nerds living in the middle of nowhere are like, we heard about your incident. We love to get a report about it. And he's like, sure. He's like, let me write it down. That's fucking ridiculous. There's paperwork. He filled out a report about seeing a UFO.
So then he really believed it. Like, you're not doing
that. Will be in our notes. Go check it out. His handwriting on this report, giving the nerds the report of what he saw.
And they must be like, well, this is an important person. Yeah. He's reliable.
Of course.
Oh, gosh.
I know. Can you believe this?
I love it.
I know.
Love it.
So fucking great. So, according to the report he filed with the International UFO Bureau 4 years after the incident, Carter saw the UFO in October 1969. However, investigators have cited Lions Club records as evidence that it occurred 9 months earlier.
Oh, goodness gracious.
According to a meeting report that he filed with the Lions Club, Carter gave his leery speech on January 6, 1969, not in October. So, but of course he's giving his report.
I mean, it's 4 years later. He's like, I knew it was maybe like fall, winter time. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, that kind of makes sense. You might mess that up.
But it's 4 years later. He doesn't know.
He doesn't know what the hell's going on. How many speeches has the man done? I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah. The setting of his January meeting, as described in the report to the Lions Club, also matches the setting that he would later describe to the media when speaking about his sighting. His report to the Lions Club made no mention of the sighting itself. Other evidence rules out the October 1969 date and is consistent with the January 1969 date. First, Carter visited the Leary Lions Club in his capacity as district governor of the Lions Club. His term ended in June 1969, so he was there, as a member of the club. Second, the Leary Lions Club disbanded several months before October 1969. So he wasn't there then.
Carter.
Okay, so this is some of the investigation.
Whatever. Okay, so they forget. Whatever. I mean...
So some of the investigation.
And this is the 60s, so I feel like, alien story, I feel like there's kind of like a vibe going on.
Didn't we go to the moon at that time? Didn't we go in 1969 to the moon? Like, people are always looking up at the fucking stars. Wasn't it 69? I think so. According to an investigation carried out in 1976, some 7 years after the event, most of those present at the meeting either did not recall the event or did not recall it being anything important. So even the people there are like, no big deal, right?
Yeah.
According to Fred Hart, the only guest who remembered seeing the object, he said, quote, it seems like there was a little, like a blue light or something other in the sky that night, like some kind of weather balloon they sent out or something. It had been pretty far back in my mind. So, like, if you had seen a fucking UFO...
You would be freaking out.
Yeah, you'd be like, this is the date. This is what I fucking saw.
And I think you're right. This is around the time of the moon landing.
Yeah.
So people are like... people are probably like, oh my God, we traveled to the moon. Other people can travel here. Probably like, maybe reawakened... alien...
Yeah, which has always been like a great...
Ideas,
Yes. On January 6, 1969, the sky was clear in Leary, and the planet Venus was near its maximum brightness and in the direction described by Carter. UFOologist, which is hot,
Yeah.
Robert Sheffer, concluded that the object that Carter witnessed was a misidentification of Venus. UFOlogist Alan Hendry did calculations and agrees with the assessment of it being Venus. This could also be the Venus halo, as was discussed on the Skeptic's Guide to the Universe podcast in episode 105.
The Venus halo.
In 2007, when he interviewed Jimmy Carter about this on the podcast.
So, you know, I don't know if I told this story before, but I made the grave mistake of signing up for an astronomy class in college, because I was like, oh, I'll take this for my science and I can just go to the planetarium and like it'll be cool. And then, you know, the first day it was like this huge formula on the board, because like they're calculating like the distance to travel here and how, and I was like, I gotta get the hell out of this class, because I can't do it. But so this is what they did. They looked at whatever was happening in the astrological map or whatever the hell. And then they're calculating to see, well, he was here, this was here, this is where it was up in the sky. That's how they're figuring this out. See, these are smart people.
Yeah. So
these are smart people.
They took astronomy.
Yeah.
So
they didn't fail it.
On this in the 2007 interview on this podcast, Carter stated that he did not believe the object was Venus, explaining that he was an amateur astronomer and knew what Venus looked like.
Oh.
He also said that as a scientist...
He's like, how dare you insult me?
Yeah. He also said that as a scientist, he did not believe it was an alien craft, and at the time assumed it was probably a military aircraft from a nearby base. Okay. However, he said that the object did not make any sound like a helicopter would do. Carter also said that he did not believe that any extraterrestrials have visited Earth. Well, that's where we disagree. That's where we disagree with Carter.
So wait, so there's well, what do they call them now? They don't call them UFOs. They're called
UAPs.
Like, UAPs. So there's this UAP that he thinks he saw, but it's just like a drone. Like no one's manning it. Like
he can't figure it out. He's guessing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And he doesn't want to say there's aliens, because then people are going to be like, Carter believes in aliens. It'll be in like the National Enquirer.
Right. I think he did an interview with the Enquirer, actually. In the podcast interview, he also stated he knows of no government cover-up of extraterrestrial visits. Bullshit! And that the rumors that the CIA refused to give him information about the UFOs are not true. Again, that's bullshit.
They know. Come on.
Fucking cover up, bitch.
Area 51, what?
Yeah, hello. And a 2016 follow-up episode of the Skeptic's Guide to the Universe podcast 561, a letter forwarded from a member of the Carter family from Carl G. Geer Justice was read, giving his true explanation of Carter's UFO sightings. Okay, so
I love this. This is the truth.
So here we go.
How does he know?
This is and also this is what I think it was. I think this is actually
this
what
is someone that like really knows what they're talking about.
Yeah, because we're going to talk about these things, and I also put pictures up, and we'll have pictures on our Instagram or whatever.
I love this. Tell me what
is it? It looks like what he described, and it's fucking cool as fuck.
And it changes red, white, and blue?
They change color. It's incredible. But it's like man-made auroras borealis. Is that how you... Aurora borealis. It's like man-made, and the government was like putting these... Anyway, but I think, you know, it's kind of fun to think it was a UFO.
Yeah, no.
So that's when I started reading this, and I was like,
well, I want to hear about this
UFO.
Man-made thing. I've never heard of this.
So this is what this guy wrote. After recently reading the book Georgia Myths and Legends by Augusta Chronicle columnist Don Rhodes, specifically Chapter 5, called Jimmy Carter and the UFO. This motherfucker. I've never heard this story.
What a fun book.
Yeah, but like all the things you hear about Carter, you never hear like this motherfucker saw a UFO. What?
He's probably like, God damn it, why did I write that report? Why?
Like, but did you know I was a peanut farmer? Like, can we talk about that?
Can we go back to the peanuts?
The fascinating job of farming peanuts.
I mean, maybe he needed some excitement in his life.
Who doesn't? I mean, come on. So this is what he said. After recently reading the book Georgia Myths and Legends by Augusta Chronicle columnist Don Rhodes, specifically Chapter 5, Jimmy Carter and the UFO.
Oh, yeah. We said that.
I am virtually certain that I have identified the source of what it was that President Carter saw. Okay. In the 1960s and early 70s, I worked on an Air Force Base sponsored project that studied the upper atmosphere using releases of glowing chemical clouds produced by rockets launched from Eglin Air Force Base rocket range in Florida. Some of these chemical clouds, notably sodium and barium, were visible by the process of resonance scattering of sunlight. Clouds of this type had to be launched not long after sunset or not long before sunrise. This was due to the fact that the cloud had to be in the sunlight at high altitude while it was still dark. While it was still dark enough at ground level for the cloud to be visible against the dark sky. In Carter's official 1973 UFO report, oh God, I want to get a UFO report so badly.
Me too.
Please. Aliens.
But please be nice.
Help me. Yep.
Do you remember that movie?
Probe might be fun.
No. Do you remember that movie where the guy it was like based off a true story?
Yes, I know what you're going to say. You talked about it in the Fire in the Sky?
Yes!
You talked about it on the podcast with our UFO podcast.
Oh,
with
yes,
David
yes.
Zach.
Yeah. That freaks me out because like he seemed to be tortured. So not those aliens, but I'm sure there's like other aliens.
Are there any that are like sexually
that are hot?
Curious?
Hot aliens?
Oh
Interspecies interaction?
Oh God.
Ooh.
Sounds like dating. Aliens. Men are aliens. All right, let's get back to it. I don't know what's going on anymore.
Woo!
Hey. Okay, so in Carter's official 1973 UFO report, as given in the Rhodes book, he stated that he had seen the phenomenon in October 1969, which we know is bullshit. However, it was determined at the Lions Club that he was there in January 1969. The report, U.S. Space Science Program report to COSPAR 1970, documents that there was a barium cloud launched from Eglin Air Force Base and released on January 6, 1969 at 7:35 p.m. And it stands, right after he sees this thing, right? So the report altitude for this cloud was 152 kilometers with a distance between Leary, Georgia, where he was, and Eglin Air Force Base in Florida of about 234 kilometers.
Oh, yes, this makes sense.
Yeah, this cloud would have appeared in the sky at an elevation of 33 degrees, so like it would have shown up then.
Okay, look. We're sitting here making fun of Carter. This isn't his fault. Like,
no.
I think anyone would be like, well, what
Wait
the
till
hell
you
is
see
that?
these pictures and you look at the pictures, you're like, I would be, if I saw this in the sky, I'd be like, what the fuck is going on?
Yes.
It's crazy. So Carter's report notes that the stars were visible, so the night must have been clear.
Yes.
And this guy also wrote, I can verify from personal experience that under clear skies, a barium cloud such as this would easily have been visible from the distance of Leary, Georgia. Furthermore, the appearance reported by Carter is totally consistent with a high-altitude barium cloud. His report stated that it was bluish at first, then reddish, luminous, not solid. A neutral barium cloud would initially glow bluish or greenish, with parts of it on a reddish glow as some of the barium becomes ionized at the high-altitude sunlight.
I mean,
oh
listen,
my God, it's fucking crazy.
Okay. At first, I was going to be like, this man was drunk and he saw a hot air balloon or, something stuck in the tree.
Yeah.
But he actually legit saw something that, like, we do not see, oh my God, on a regular basis.
I know that we
and
won't
so
be able to see
that
this
would be very, very, very odd, especially in 1969 to see something like that.
I mean, look at that.
It's gorgeous.
And
but that would freak me out.
Yeah, you see that in the sky, these
all right, you're redeemed. You're redeemed.
Okay, very good.
I forgive you, Carter.
In 2020, Justice completed an extensive study, the same author, of the high-altitude barium release clouds, concluding that what Carter saw was totally consistent with what was launched that evening from the Air Force Base.
I mean, what a job, like, that you know what I mean?
Yeah. He described several physical aspects supporting consistency and submitted a copy of the report for archival at the Jimmy Carter Library.
Oh,
so kind of clearing it up before.
Yeah. Let's help out Carter. He's like, let me help this man out.
The sighting is said to have had a personal impact on Carter and his perception of UFOs and UFO sightings. During his 1976 election campaign, he is said to have told reporters that as a result of it, he would institute a policy of openness if he were elected to office, saying, quote, "One thing's for sure. I'll never make fun of people who say they've seen unidentified objects in the sky. If I become president, I will make every piece of information this country has about UFO sightings available to the public and the scientists," end quote.
Oh, hey, wait. I'm still waiting.
Yeah, despite this
I'm still waiting.
Despite his earlier
Everybody
pledge,
wants this.
Despite his earlier pledge, once elected, Carter distanced himself from disclosure, citing, quote, defense implications, end quote, as being his decision, behind his decision.
So then that tells us that there's something to hide. Because if there was nothing to hide, he'd be like, look, here's all the paperwork. There's nothing. So we know there's something. Ooh, Carter, you just revealed and not revealing.
The truth is out there, Tina. The hashtag truth is out there. Hashtag I want to believe. Hashtag let's fuck Fox Mulder. Hashtag Scully, come on, you can come too.
Yes.
What is that? You like UFOs? Me too.
Ooh, the
this is so
X-rated
hot.
files. What?
Oh my God,
Oh
Tina.
my God.
She's so fucking
Okay.
good. You know what? How are people not listening to this fucking podcast?
How is it? Oh, I am
How?
offended right now at
X-rated
our
files?
Florida. I am offended at our Florida
But you know
audience
what?
listening.
Yeah,
right
but you know what? But you know what? Ireland fucking gets it.
Ooh,
Ireland fucking knows.
Ooh, do an Irish accent again.
Tina, this is a lovely girl, aren't you, Tina? I can't.
I've been
I'm
watching
like-
this show called, I think it's like Bad Girls, Bad Sisters on Apple TV, and they're Irish. Ooh, and there is a guy on there that is so beautiful. I have to show you. You're going to be like, oh my God, it's like straight up my type. Because he is tall,
dark and
handsome, a little scruffy, these eyes. Ooh!
Tina likes someone she can throw, that will throw her around, basically.
Yes.
If she need be, she can just manhandle her. I like white nerds. We've discussed this already on the podcast. My type is a nerd, a geek. You gotta be nerdy about something.
I like nerds.
Yeah.
But you gotta be,
No, I'm not into big
I like
big
a little
guys.
rugged. I like a little rugged.
No.
Ooh.
No.
No? Wait till I'm going to show you this guy later.
Okay.
I don't remember his name. I'm sorry. I'll be in the next podcast.
We don't need to name him. We just have to look at him.
Yes.
Hi.
Okay.
That's my story.
Okay.
I'm sticking to it.
Are you ready?
Ready, let's go.
Oh, I'm so excited about this story. And I feel like somehow we may have talked about this. I've been so paranoid that like, did we do this? And I kept looking at our notes and I'm like, no, we haven't. But I feel like maybe we mentioned it or I don't know. So let's go.
Okay.
All right. Today, I'm going to tell you the story of Judge John H. Wood.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm loving those judges lately.
I know. I saw this and I was like, what? So. What? How is this not a bigger thing? I don't know. You probably maybe heard of this. Okay. All right. So Judge John H. Wood was known for his hard-hitting convictions, particularly for drug charges. But when a drug lord hits back, Wood loses his life.
Shut.
Do you know this story?
No.
No, you. Okay. So our story takes place in San Antonio, Texas.
Damn.
So let me give you a little background on Wood. Okay. So Judge Wood, born in 1916, became a federal judge when Nixon appointed him in 1970. Is this familiar?
No, but he's old. He's going on the bench in his 60s?
Yeah. And he served until his death in 1979.
Okay.
He earned the nickname Maximum John because he doled out really long sentences, especially for drug charges. And according to Jimmy Carter... According to Jimmy Carter's statement on Wood's death, Wood had a long career in law and the judiciary. He served for 30 years as an attorney beginning in 1938, then 8 years as judge. And according to that page, it's called the Federal Judicial Center. They had a page on Wood, and it said that he earned his BA from St. Mary's University in 1935, his law degree in 1938, and he also served in the Navy as an ensign and in the Naval Reserve from 1944 to 1954.
Wow.
Yeah. So, the major incident. On May 29th, 1979, Judge Wood left his home and was shot in the back of the head with a rifle when he stooped down to check out his car's tire. And it makes him the first ever federal judge to be assassinated.
Wow.
So the Attorney General Griffin Bell told the Washington Post at the time, "We cannot have a country where judges are assassinated or killed. If our society has become so lawless that you can just kill federal judges, or any judge for that matter, we haven't got a system of law. It's a really dark time in this country." And so what happened at the time is they didn't know why he was killed. So they started putting surveillance on all these other judges, federal judges, because they were like, we don't know what's happening. So that's what they were thinking about, who would do this? And according to several reports, including one article from the Associated Press, drug dealers hired Charles Harrelson to assassinate Wood when he left his townhouse that fateful day in May. Now, the name Harrelson should sound familiar because we know actor Woody Harrelson.
Oh,
do you know this story?
Shit. Yeah, I knew his father was in jail.
His dad was paid $250,000 to do the hit. And he was paid by El Paso drug smugglers and Dixie Mafia leaders Jimmy Chagra and his brother Joseph.
Wow.
So Jimmy Chagra was supposed to face the judge the very day the murder occurred.
I mean, can I say something?
Pretty convenient.
It is, but like, how dumb? You think that they're not going to replace him with another judge?
I
Like, what do you think
know.
it's going to give you one more day?
Yeah.
I mean, what are you doing?
I
It's
know.
so short-sighted.
It's ridiculous. So during the investigation, they found a tape with the Chagras, the brothers, talking about hiring Harrelson. And according to Sam Arnold's Medium article, other evidence included the gun purchase, and 94 witnesses like had come on through the trial.
Dang.
So the thing that was like really interesting was when the FBI, I just thought it was, I'm like, this is like Woody Harrelson's dad. Like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, wow.
So the FBI attempted to arrest Harrelson in September of 1980. So they figure out like that it's him. And he puts them through a 6-hour standoff where they describe him as like manic. Like he's like coked out and he's like out of his mind. And they're like just trying to arrest this guy. So I want to give you some background on Harrelson just because I thought it was interesting. So according to Barty Haley of the Hayes Free Press, Harrelson started off as an encyclopedia salesman who allegedly like gambled the nights away. So he ends up sort of in debt to
Degenerate.
a lot of mafia folks.
Right.
And in 1960, he's arrested for armed robbery. Then in the late 60s, he starts doing hits for the mafia, supposedly to like pay off some of these debts.
Damn.
And this is the other thing. The article notes that there are some disputes as to how many hits Harrelson actually did. And Harrelson like allegedly boasted that he had killed like over 50 people.
Wow. Wow.
But others disagree. Like, there was like some guy who, wanted to remain anonymous. That's like, yeah, I know maybe he did 3 or 4 people. I don't know about 50. You know what I mean? But he maybe was just boasting, but who knows, right? So he did stand trial for 3 murders. So Haley further writes that he was acquitted of the first murder, got 7 years probation for the second, and he got the 7 years probation for the second. It was like 15 years, but was out in 5, and they got that probation. And I have like the details of that. Like he was just hired to kill these different people.
Probation seems like nothing for a murder. I mean,
and he's acquitted for the first one.
Is it because they were going to hold the people who hired him accountable for it? Like it was their idea to do it?
No, it was just, I think like, different issues of evidence came in, like, that they couldn't like pin it on him. Right. And the last murder, of course, is Judge Wood, which he allegedly committed a year after his release. So he gets out in those 5 years, and within a year, he's like,
what an idiot.
Yeah. So he's charged, of course, with first-degree murder, and Harrelson received 2 life sentences, plus an additional 5 years for the contract killing of the judge. Chagra, the guy who hired Harrelson, was acquitted.
How?
He was acquitted because I guess they couldn't.
He's not writing him out. He's not going to say this guy hired me.
He's still claiming innocence.
2 life sentences plus 5 years
because Harrelson is saying I didn't do it.
Oh,
he's claiming he didn't do it.
Come on, man.
So his third wife, Harrelson's third wife, Joanne, received 25 years for purchasing the gun used in the murder. So what happened is they traced the gun back because of serial numbers. These ghost guns and these other things.
Right.
The serial number. So she got charged with conspiracy. So they're like, okay, we have the purchase of the gun. We have the serial number under her. This is your wife. This is the gun, But as far as Chagra, I think he was like, no, I didn't hire this. Who knows? So they weren't, sort of in it together. You know what I mean? Like they're looking out for their own selves, and Harrelson's like, I didn't do this.
Wow.
So he does try to push forward with an appeal. So the Associated Press reported in 1998 that one of the officers involved in the case, this guy Jack Compton, said that he was pursuing other suspects outside of Harrelson. Oh. So this is where Harrelson is like, see, it wasn't me. There were these other suspects. But basically, his attorney is saying, Harrelson's attorney is saying, you had these other suspects, you didn't fully vet or close them out, and you went after my client, and so they're trying to...
He's still alive?
No, he ended up dying in like 2007.
Yeah.
So one attorney stated, quote, he did not get a fair trial. And basically they argued that Harrelson was in Dallas at the time of the shooting, so he couldn't have shot Judge Wood.
Come on, what is this? This
The
is
new
JFK
trial-
conspiracies?
Oh, there's a connection.
What?
So the new trial never happened. So some points of interest. At that appeal trial in 1998, Woody Harrelson, according to the Associated Press, showed up and hugged his dad's defense attorney. And Woody, according to a Ranker article, was the one who tried to get the new trial. Like, he was like, so he and his dad were like estranged.
I mean, you gotta try. I guess you
Yeah,
gotta try,
I
right?
mean-
If you're thinking about this as your dad, and
Yeah.
you gotta do everything you can, I guess, right?
I mean,
Especially, God, you know, parent, the way, you know, parent, our relationships with our parents are so fucked, you know,
Well,
we're always like, even as an adult, like,
yeah.
those relationships
And
can
he
be
was a
strained.
kid, so he's
Right, so he's like, well, he's held this guy up, and he's like, he is innocent,
Well,
you know? Maybe.
No, because
What?
according to a Ranker article, Harrelson wasn't around his the father, wasn't around his wife or sons. And in an interview with The Guardian, Ranker cites this interview with The Guardian, Woody Harrelson stated, quote, I think they separated, talking about his parents, when I was 7. But he was gone a lot before that in prison, away and back, away and back. It wasn't like he was there all the time prior to that. And then the Ranker article also notes that he didn't have contact with his father really since 1968. So when he was that little kid, and didn't really talk about him. But then he told this story. So there's a little Woody Harrelson, 1973, sitting in a car listening to the radio. And he heard about a Charles B. Harrelson who had been arrested for murder. And he realized in that moment, like, oh my God, that's my dad.
Holy cow.
Yeah. And then in 1987 is when he like tried to reconcile with his dad. So I don't know if he saw him as innocent or not innocent, but he said, still, I'm just now getting whether he merits my loyalty or friendship. I look at him as someone who could be a friend more than someone who is a father. And then he talks about how, like, oh, he's just so smart and charismatic, and
I wonder.
So
I wonder if it's a clearing
it's got to
of
be
your-
a struggle.
Yeah, and I wonder if it's a clearing of your conscience, right? Like, you have to make, like, maybe he's thinking if he doesn't do everything he can do to try to help him, pay
like,
for a lawyer or whatever,
Yeah.
that his conscience isn't clear.
Yeah.
And, like, I mean, I don't know. Dads disappearing from their sons' lives is pretty fucking crazy.
It's
and
messed up.
Yeah.
So another fun fact of this guy Harrelson is in 1995, he attempted to break out of prison when he was held in an Atlanta prison.
What the fuck?
And he was in the same prison at the same, it's the same prison where Timothy McVeigh, the Oklahoma City bomber, was.
Oh, God.
And Kaczynski, the Unabomber,
Oh,
were
my-
being held.
what a jail
Like,
this
what
is.
a jail.
My
So then he
God.
tries to escape, they catch him, and then they move him to, like, another, like, maximum security,
God.
which he ends up saying, like, I really like this prison better because I'm kind of isolated and everybody leaves me alone, and so he was fine with it. And then another fun fact, which was my favorite, is the investigation into Wood's murder cost more and was more expansive than JFK's assassination. It carried about an $11 million price tag.
Why?
I guess, like, just trying to, like, see, did Harrelson really do this? Like,
And it was a judge. So
And it was a
they're gonna
judge.
Put everything into it.
And when he was first arrested, remember I said he was, like, high on coke and he was a little they said that he was, quote, manic. He claimed to have taken part in JFK's death.
What?
Now the thing is, here's the thing. He was allegedly having lunch at the Grassy Knoll that day, and 3 vagrants were arrested and have become known as the 3 Tramps, and some believe that the photo of one of them is Harrelson.
Wow.
Yeah. So some conspiracy theorists think that he really may have been involved in the murder.
But, like, involved that he was there eating lunch, or involved like he was part
that
of
he
the
was
planning?
part of it. Because you know how everyone's like, the Grassy Knoll, there was a shooter at the Grassy Knoll.
My daughter comes home from school yesterday and is telling me all about how her teacher's obsessed with his JFK assassination, and it's Lee Harvey Oswald, and he's the one who did it. And she's like, and I'm like, well, I don't know what's the deal. And she was like, look at the facts, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yes.
I said, we got to watch that movie, that JFK movie.
Oh my God. But I thought, wow, like, what, to have this person as your fault, and then we have this famous
it's
movie
wild.
star
It's so wild.
that I never really heard this story before.
I knew
that,
his dad
you know.
had been in jail, but I didn't know that that's what it was for.
Yeah, and it's a shame. So he murders this judge allegedly, for $250,000, and then the guy who hires him gets off. Like, that's got to be the thing.
Yeah.
That is most frustrating. Like, I'm sitting in jail for 2 life sentences. I mean, he did pull the trigger, allegedly.
Yeah, it is alleged. So Woody, come on the show and tell us about it.
Don't sue me, Woody Harrelson.
Yeah.
I can't afford it.
No, it is alleged.
Yeah, alleged.
We love your movies.
Oh my God, love.
Let's go. How great was he on that the detective show, True Detective? The first season of True Detective.
So good.
Brilliant.
So good.
Brilliant actor.
Oh my God.
Hunger Games.
I've never seen.
So good. He's good in Hunger Games.
I've never seen
I
it.
loved it. I
Never
love
seen
Woody Harrelson.
I did too, but
Here's my other favorite thing about Woody Harrelson.
Natural Born Killers.
Oh God, fucking great.
That movie was good.
He at least seems to live full time in Hawaii, and he's always there. He's high as fuck, and he hangs out with
Woody Harrelson.
Matthew McConaughey.
What?
Yeah, the two of
You
them.
know what, guys? What is
And
going
somebody
on?
else.
Where is the invitation?
I know. Could you imagine? They're just
How
floating in the
dare
water,
you?
high as fuck.
I mean, here we
Which
are.
is basically how I would
wanna-
describe Key West.
We want to hang out, and you don't even extend an invitation our way. It's insulting.
Yeah, we'll come
It's
out.
insulting.
Don't worry. We'll just send us an invitation. We'll
Yeah.
make. We'll find our way there.
Yeah, 100%.
No worries. Sure, we'll come. We'll come.
Yes,
we'll come.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Just invite us. Open invitation. Yeah, we'll be there. Okay, sure, no problem.
Thank you.
No problem. If we show up and Matthew McConaughey's playing bongos naked, I'm fucking in. I'm here for it. Don't worry about me. I'm not shy. Let's do it. Let's do this.
Woo!
What a story.
Oh yeah.
Was that it?
Fun? Yeah.
Oh
that's
my
it. That's
God, Tina. I love those connections like that
Yay.
though. Harrelson.
it.
Dang.
Yeah. I saw it in I don't even know where, and I was like, wait. And then I started reading, and I was like, wait a minute, this is a Muck story.
Oh, for sure. I found 2 stories this week.
Ooh.
One is absolutely horrific.
Oh no.
Horrific. Like, they just arrested the guy, and for decades and decades and decades was doing horrific
Ooh.
fucking things. And the other story I found is I found from watching The Crown. They brought something up, and I was like, oh man, let me look that up, and it was great. It's a great Muck story. So
Yay.
you know what I would love to plan with you is like do an episode that's international Muck stories.
Yes.
So we can go, I know it's like US, America.
Yes.
Let's do, because there are so many
We'll
stories.
we'll have special.
Yeah, let's do an international one. I think that would be fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna plan
Go
it.
rogue off of our.
Yes.
All right, cool. I guess that's it.
Yeah.
Let me check my notes. I think that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you.
Yeah. This is a great episode.
Such a good episode. Oh, and we're back.
We're back. Oh,
Guess
thank
who's
God.
back?
Back again.
Back again.
Back again.
Tell a friend.
Oh, you motherfuckers. God damn it. What are we doing this? I swear to God, I was doing the story Thursday night. I was working on the story, and I was like, why am I doing this? Like, when are people going to act? When is this going to be like a deluge? Is that right? Deluge of people?
Yeah.
Deluge?
Yeah, we're waiting.
Where are you? I
Help
want a
us
tsunami
out.
of fucking downloads.
Help us out.
A tsunami of downloads.
Yes. Help us.
Maybe we should just move to Ireland. We clearly have a better fucking following there. Oh God, I mentioned that to my kids last night. We were coming home for dinner, and I was like, we need to get out of Florida. My daughter's immediately like, whoosh, like crying. And I'm like, all right. Calm down. But like, when they're done with high school, I gotta tell you, I gotta get out of here.
I know.
This is not a safe place. And then watching like what DeSantis did, I'm like, why would I want to live here?
Why are we here? And it's not like it's cheap anymore. You know what I mean? Or
it's not
affordable.
affordable. Like, wouldn't I want to go to a place where the schools are better and the weather is better? It's so fucking hot here. Like, I'm done. I'm done.
All the time.
It's fucked up.
Save us. We're back at the beginning. Save us. All right.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.